So have you ever really stopped to think about how it all began? I mean, the very first people on the Indian subcontinent. What did they eat? Where did they live? Today, we're going to travel way, way back in time to piece together that incredible story. Okay, let's start with this idea, because it's absolutely key. Forget the dry dates and the long list of dynasties for a minute. When you strip it all away, the story of ancient India, like the story of humanity everywhere, is about survival. It's about the basics: food, clothing, and shelter. That simple idea is our map for understanding how the first societies even got started. To survive, right, you need food and you need a place to live. And for our most ancient ancestors, the answer to both was pretty clear: water. You see, the great rivers of the subcontinent weren't just rivers, they were the lifeblood of civilization. They were the grocery store, the water fountain, and the highway all rolled into one. In this table right here, it tells an amazing story of progress. It all kicks off along the Narmada River, where people were just incredibly skilled gatherers and hunters. Then, boom, about 8,000 years ago in the Suliman Hills, we see a massive leap forward. People start growing their own food, wheat and barley, and raising animals. That one change, the agricultural revolution, is what made everything else possible. It paved the way for the very first cities to pop up along the Indus River, and eventually for massive kingdoms like Magadha to rise along the mighty Ganges.
So you see the pattern, right? It's a chain reaction. The way people got their food fundamentally changed their economy. And once the economy changed, so did the society and the politics. It's this exact evolution that allowed for complex structures and eventually those powerful kingdoms to form.
All right, so life is getting more stable, people are farming, building cities. You'd think they'd stay put, right? But what's fascinating is that this period of stability actually sparked a huge movement of people. So the big question is, why? Why were so many people traveling all across the subcontinent?
And we're not talking about an easy journey here. Think about it. They had to cross towering mountains, vast deserts, and powerful, dangerous rivers. Something really powerful must have been pushing them to leave home and face those kinds of challenges. And here are the answers. It turns out people moved for all kinds of reasons. For some, it was just about survival, finding work or escaping a terrible flood or drought. For others, it was about power, with armies marching to conquer new lands. And then you had merchants traveling huge distances with their goods, looking to make a profit. And of course, you had religious teachers who traveled to spread their ideas and beliefs from village to village. So what happens when you get all these different groups of people moving around and bumping into each other? You get this incredible cultural melting pot. People started sharing ideas, skills, and traditions. This mixing of cultures created this rich, diverse fabric that we still see today in India's art, music, and especially its food. I mean, that amazing variety of spices in Indian cooking, that's a direct result of these ancient trade routes and migrations.
And all this mixing of people led to something else that's really interesting. The land itself actually came to be known by two completely different names, and each name has its own incredible story.
So on one hand, we have the name India. This name actually came from outsiders. The ancient Iranians and Greeks, coming from the northwest, knew of the great river Indus, which they called the Hindos or Indos. So they started calling the land to the east of that river India. Pretty straightforward. But then you have Bharat, which has a much older internal origin. It comes from the Bharata, a powerful group of people who lived in the northwest and are mentioned in the Rig Veda, which is one of the oldest sacred texts in the world. Okay, but let's pause for a second. We're talking about things that happened thousands upon thousands of years ago. There were no cameras, no internet, no modern records. So how on earth do we know any of this stuff? How do historians reconstruct this amazing story? Well, it's best to think of historians as detectives. They're not solving crimes, but they are solving the mysteries of the past. And just like a detective, they have to rely on the clues that were left behind to piece together what really happened.
Their first type of clue? Manuscripts. Now these are incredible. They're actual documents, written by hand on things like palm leaves or special bark from birch trees. They contain everything from religious beliefs to science and medicine. They are a direct window into the minds of ancient people. The only problem is they're super fragile, and over the centuries, so many have been destroyed or just lost to time.
So if manuscripts are the delicate paper clues, inscriptions are the messages carved in stone. These were meant to last forever. Kings would carve their orders or brag about their victories in battle on stone pillars or metal plates for everyone to see.
And because they're so durable, they give us these solid, undeniable facts about the past.
And the third, and maybe the most exciting clue, is archaeology. This is where historians literally get their hands dirty. Archaeologists dig up the physical stuff left behind, the ruins of buildings, old pottery, tools, even the bones of people and animals. These physical objects tell us a story that words sometimes can't, showing us how people really live day to day.
So you see, by piecing together all these clues, the fragile manuscripts, the lasting inscriptions, and the physical objects from the ground, we can build a pretty clear picture of the past. But it also makes you think, doesn't it? Even the way we measure this history, the dates we use, has its own story. It kind of leaves you wondering, what clues are we leaving behind right now, and what story will future historians tell about us?